Hey everybody, and welcome to the next scenario review of the Innsmouth Conspiracy, where we're going to be talking about the second scenario in the deluxe box, which is the Vanishing of Elena Harper. In this scenario, you are in Innsmouth City proper, and you are trying to find a missing federal agent, I believe she is.
Yeah, something like that.
And to do so, you need to search through a leads deck while more red herrings are added, even though there is already 10 red herrings in the deck to begin with.
Isn't it 9?
No, it's 5 of each.
There's 12 in total?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you might solve it. At a certain point, you probably just have to guess. However, you also might somehow get really lucky and know. But I have not seen that happen, except for the time where I cheated and played the scenario incorrectly.
That was a really stupid question I asked. What world would there ever be 9 of them in the deck?
Alright, let's start talking about the theme.
Oh, no.
About what we think of the theme of this one. Because
That's something like a 4.
yeah, I like the
It feels like you're just going around talking to people and you're like, hey, what's going on in Innsmouth? And they're like,
And they're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm also with you. I'm also at a 4. I like the,
Like,
the
okay.
feeling of the scenario.
I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, like you go around to like all the normal places and then like you get little bits of information like, yeah, maybe you should check out New Church Green or whatever. You're like, oh yeah.
It does tell a really good story with that. Did I not save this when I tried to do this? Oh, one thing I should also say, because there was a comment about it, our overall score is not an average. Oh, I made my overall 4. There is, spoiler alert, that is not the case. Our overall rating is not an average of our scores. These are just like, if we have to look at different areas because they all kind of influence in certain ways. Like maybe someone like I like the theme a lot more than I do the difficulty, right? Like I don't care if a scenario is easy if it's really thematic. And someone like Bryn, I don't know, he might just, I don't know. He's an enigma. I haven't figured it out. I'm never going to crack this out.
Yeah, the overall there's no equation to it or anything. It's just if you had like walked up to us on the street and were like, how you like about the scenario?
Yeah.
How you feel about the
10
scenario?
words or less.
Yeah. And you go, 3.
Yeah.
Wow, he's done it. Bryn, what do you think about the theme for this one?
Am I allowed to input my theme as Cluedo instead of a number?
Cluedo. Oh, that is disgusting.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah, I would probably give this one like, I don't know, maybe a 2.5. So to me, the theme of this one is me sitting down to play Cluedo, even though I don't really want to play Cluedo, but also they tell me that it's like an idiot version where I don't get to do any deductive reasoning to determine anything about the game at all. I don't like that. I'm not here to play games to kill time until I die. I am here to play games because I want to think about them. I want them to make me think. And this one is just sort of like, did I win?
Unfortunately, you got one of them right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, have you tried framing it as like a Midnight Mass sort of thing where it's more about like
No, because
optimizing your game instead of being like its shitty version of this other game?
in the Midnight Masks, sure, if I only get 3 of them, I didn't do what I came there to do, but I still got something done. Whereas in this one, if I don't get everything right, I have been wasting my time.
That's not
and
true.
get to read the
Getting
next story
something
part.
right is like is worth it.
Yeah, okay, but like getting something right, like you get to play the game still, right? So like
This one isn't like even really about getting it right or getting it wrong. It's about getting victory.
yeah, it's just I don't like it.
I do kind of get with what it is. The first time through, I think we all did not like this one.
Well, yeah, we just got.
Yeah.
We understand it.
Every time that I've played this one 3 times now, and every time it's kind of just like I show up and I get to hold my breath, and then we get to make a guess, and then, if we're right, we get to keep playing. Our reward is that we get to play the game the way that it probably should should end, and if not, then like cool, we're good. Like, see you next week.
Yeah, I wish it was designed to not have that auto end at the intermission.
That is the part that really grinds my gears.
Like because I like the flavor where if you're half right, you piss off the town. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it should have, like, if you were completely wrong, and because if you're completely wrong, all that happens is the scenario ends, and then Elena Harper is like, I'm okay, right? Like, I got out all by myself. It feels just a little bit like, then why did it happen that way, right? There should have been something else that would have, or like it should have continued, but like, now like
it's real hard now.
It could have been like, you also got kidnapped in the resolution, and then like Elena had a plan to get out.
Yeah.
And she digs you both out.
Yeah.
No, I do not like this one. This is another one of the Innsmouth. There are probably about half of them that I do not like.
All right, Brent, let me go. What do you think on the fun rating? What are you going to give that?
This one's fun right up until the game's like, you want to roll the die? You want to do it? Oh, you got a 1?
You don't have to roll the die, though.
Yeah, but like...
You shouldn't have to roll the die.
You can't be good enough. It's not...
We're pretty close today.
Yeah, we were pretty close, and your deck is like cheating.
It's fair.
So...
It's balanced, Brent.
I do think it is pretty swingy. Right?
Like, it does feel bad when you lose, but like, there's not really any punishment for losing.
Yeah, the punishment is that I just sat down and set up the scenario, and I get to tear down now.
You still played most of it. Like, how long did the game go for after we made the guess? Like 2 rounds?
Yeah, it always ends really quick, which is kind of crazy to me.
That's like spoilers if you're watching it. She was kidnapped by a grocery clerk, and we beat the piss out of him.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
All this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, not that any of them are really any harder than he is, but...
For me, I like a lot of the design of this scenario in terms of like its cards. Like the Doom cultists in this one, I think are really cool design where they're like, I feel more pressure from them than an acolyte, right?
Yep.
Because they can have it crossover without it in a way you expect. And the High Priest of Dagon is also a really cool card where like you kill him once, and then he's like, he comes back and he's like all fishy, and then you're like, I'll kill you again because he has Doom on him.
I'll do it again.
Yeah. And I have fun to a certain point. My favorite thing to do now to give me some solace is I like to call my shot right at the beginning of like, this is who it is and this is who it's going to be. And I got 50% this time, which was pretty sick. But I do think overall I don't have like a crazy amount of fun on this one. I do think it's a little bit below average for fun for me. Just because I feel like it's playing you more than you're playing it. But I am less negative on it than I was on my my first playthrough, because now
our first one we were all just like, this is shit.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Because in my second playthrough I got one of my location figured out, and I had a 50-50 on my suspect, and I got it right, which was nice. I think what makes it not fun is the fact that if luck is against you, which it very much could be, you just have to stop. And even though, as you said, Travis, there's not much after that. It feels
bad, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but I wish it like kept it going without punishing, without just ending it, and there was like a bruiser third act where it was a little bit harder. What about you, Travis?
I think I'd also give this one 2 or 2.5. So like, things that are fun to me about this scenario is like, it takes a long time. There isn't an enormous amount of pressure on you to do a given thing, a specific thing for the scenario. You get to, everyone who's playing just kind of like gets to see their deck do their thing. You're not going to get gimped or crippled at any point. The clue getter gets to set up and get their clues. The monster fighter gets time to set up, and then you have a bunch of small enemies and a couple big enemies you get to fight. The Cluedo thing is like, again, not super fun. But yeah, I'll go with a 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a number, Brent, or do you want me to put a strange symbol?
Get with the wingdings, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
So
do I have a font? Where is it? This one? No.
there aren't very many scenarios that I dread setting up.
This one's not even that bad to set up, though.
Yeah, but I just know I'm not going to enjoy it.
Well, not with that mindset.
That's cool.
Yeah, like this one's not as bad as Pandemic. Because like you are playing Arkham
Yeah.
mostly. But yeah, like
Like this one is like purely playing Arkham, though.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's where the lack of fun is. That like the gimmick isn't satisfying. You're just doing the basic actions of the game.
That's fair. Yeah, that's reasonable.
yeah. I'd probably give this one like a 1.5, maybe. I don't like this one.
Yeah, like I personally would never pick to play this one, but if it comes up, I don't dread it like Brent does, but I'm like fairly
Yeah.
indifferent to it. Like,
Yeah, like there are I've played through pretty much everything that it currently exists with my family, and there were like 2 of them where I was like, I don't even want to play today. And this was one of them because I knew like we were just gonna die and it was gonna be over.
What was the other one?
And the other one was Pandemic
Oh, okay. Yeah, Clutch of the Chaos. Yeah.
because like I'm not gonna tell people how to play the game, but like also that one is not the same game that you showed up to play. Everything else, like, sure, I'm always worried about playing the Asylum. But like it's a good
Yeah.
scenario.
No, it is a good word. That's a good word.
Like, it's good. Like it's fun. It's fun to play, and like that one's just like there's a lot of tension, and it's usually me who dies.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think the only scenarios I dread playing with my family are the ones that have like wildly different rules.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Pandemic was tough.
build the island deck.
The
Like
probably
this-
the car one is
Yeah.
hard to grok at first.
They actually did okay on that
That's
one.
good. That's good.
We had a hard time with Devil Reef, but I think that the vehicle mechanics were the big hoop there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
For difficulty for this one, I put a 2. I think it's below average. Obviously, like to get the perfect ending, I can't rate that one as difficulty because I think it really boils down to the luck you get out of your leads deck.
unless you just destroy the scenario.
Yeah. But I do think it's the locations aren't really that bad.
No.
The enemies are completely fair. There's one tough enemy that just takes time if you're not built for
But
it,
he's
but it's
worth
not
victory,
like he's
so-
worth victory, and it's not like it just takes time. So I
Yep.
think it's just a below average, but
Or a
not
gun.
like or a gun. Yeah.
I'd also give this one too.
Yeah, like this one you can actually just show up, sit on your hands, and get the same ending that you'll get half the time. Yeah, I don't think this one's very hard at all. This is like maybe a 1.5.
Sick.
Unless we're talking about getting
Yeah.
the proper ending or like the rescue Elina ending, in which case this is probably closer to a 4. Like
I don't think it's that hard.
that is difficult and
Like to
frustrating
get
because
both
a
of them
huge
right?
part of no, not to get both of them right, but like to rescue her at all.
There's no way that's a 4, dude.
Yeah, I think it's like closer to a 4 than it is to a 1.5.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like, it's difficult. It's not like insanely difficult, but it does rely on a bunch of things that you have absolutely zero control over. And that is frustrating.
All right, Brandon, why don't we start with you? You can give us your overall of this one.
I'll give this one like a 2.
Sweet.
A C, one of those weird symbols, I don't know, whatever.
I'm kind of right there with it. To me,
Yeah.
I think overall this one is just a 2 for me. It's below average, which kind of just fits with everything else we see here. 4, 2, 2, 2. I think it's just fine, but I don't get excited about playing it.
Nope.
But I love the theme. I really like. It's kind of like the first time when in Blood on the Altar when you're in Dunwich, and this one feels like Innsmouth, right?
Yeah,
like
you get to explore Innsmouth and like interact with some of the characters and stuff.
which I love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis? What do you think?
I'll give it like a 2.5 for basically the same reasons you did.
Sweet.
I really enjoy the scenarios that let you explore the world that you're in.
Yeah, I just think this isn't the best one that lets you in explore.
It's not got a great gimmick, but like.
I think it's, to me, because like in Too Deep you don't really get to explore it, right? Like with the thing I like about this one is that because like really ultimately it doesn't matter, which is like a knock against it too.
Yeah.
You do get to have that time to like walk around, and then you're like, oh my god, it's Joyce Little at the bookshop. Hello.
It's a Marsh Refinery.
Yeah, wow, that was a location in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But this one I'm interested to see how it goes after future plays too. Like once we've played this campaign like 4 times, 5 times, to see if the gameplay loop changes with this one at all. Because if you, the thing that can really bring it down to is if there is like the best course of action for how you resolve your searches, that could really bring it down a bit, right? Because really the gameplay loop of it doesn't change. It's just whatever cards were in the Cluedo deck and which ones weren't, right? Like, yeah, you see locations in different order, but ultimately that doesn't change it in the way that, like, with Pit of Despair, hey, you have to change your strategy to what
based
your
on
map
where
is,
the-
right? So I'm curious to
where
see
the
what
tile
that
tunnels
does in future playthroughs, if that
Yeah, I
changes
think the
anything.
biggest discrepancy there is like at what point do you change from looking at 1 card to looking at 3?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like
Well, it could be better to like hedge your bets and look at 2, and then like you get to, even if you see 2, like choosing to draw the bad cards to improve your future draws.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
something
especially if you
that's
see
something we
2.
didn't do.
If you see 2, like if you see 3 and you see 2 humans and a bad card, draw the bad card.
Yeah.
Right.
maybe next time I'll just hold all my clues and try to look at 8.
Well, you can only. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that you can't. Like, I wish you could kind of just like try to look at more. Like, I feel this one.
Does it cap at 3? That's
It does,
bullshit.
it does.
That's bullshit.
And, like-
I'd knock a half a point off.
and like that's one of those things that I think are. I kind of feel like that as well. Like, I'm excited to play Horror in High Gear again.
Well, that's
because-
exactly why you can't do it. So you can't just have like a high book seeker run around, get
No,
all the
and
clues,
it makes
never
sense.
fail falsely, and then be like, I'll look at all of them.
It makes sense, but I feel like it kind of changes
What do you mean,
the.
and?
I'm here to play Cluedo, apparently.
Yeah, it changes the design of it, right? Like you can just it feels like it's just they had this idea, and then as they were playtesting, it's like we have these problems and we need to solve these problems, and then I just think overall it missed more than it hit. But
Yeah.
I love walking around Innsmouth, man. I love it.
It's like we're gonna play Cluedo, but you can't frame questions with cards that are in your own hand or cards that you think are in the envelope. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but like just don't think of it as playing Cluedo.
All right. Well, these
It's too difficult. There's too many parallels.
This was our review for the Vanishing of Elena Harper. Next one we have is Into Deep, which I remember liking. I haven't played it since then, but I do remember liking that one. It was nice and stressful with the barricades. So we'll see what we think about that next week on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.